we're going to bring an amazing soul, a woman that has a ton of energy. I love sharing this story because when we were at Movement Maker Live back in 25, I attempted to try to keep up with the Zumba class that she was doing. And this young lady was up on the stage breaking out the dance moves. And I was about 30 seconds, 45 seconds into this thing, and I was gasping for air. And that's embarrassing to admit because I live in Colorado and I live at about 7,500 feet is where the house is at. And Nashville is a hell of a lot lower than 7,500 feet. And that just told me back in 2025, I was way out of shape. And Allegra Pacheco has become a very, very dear friend, but most importantly, a sister. And I love that this is her third climb with us. I could be wrong on this. I have a feeling it's the fourth climb, but every time that Allegra comes back, lives are impacted, lives are changed, and she has a smile of gold. So, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, lace up your boots, put on your crampons. The climb is going to get even steeper because Allegra is back on the mountain and we're getting closer to the summit. So, Allegra, my sister, the summit is yours.
Thank you so much, David. It was such a pleasure to meet you at that event, and I thought you did amazing. Thank you so much for having me back. And I'm not sure, I think it is my fourth. I'm not too sure on that either, but either way, it's always such a pleasure to be here with everyone. And many different faces here, many different backgrounds here, many different stories here. But one of the things that I'm sure of, almost positive, that if you're listening today, you have either been through some serious pain at one point in your life, or maybe you're going through it right now. The pain of grief feels different for all of us, every single one of us, as you have shared. Some of us may carry it in our chest, some of us in our heart, some of it on our back, and some of us carry that hurt in the depths of our soul. Today, I want to start off with a beautiful, beautiful quote that I found that resonates totally with me. I have endured, I have been broken, I have known hardship, I have even lost myself. But here I stand before you today, still moving forward, still growing, stronger and stronger every day. As we've heard in this summit, grief is very different for all of us. It can come from the loss of a loved one. It can come from the loss of a relationship, a job, maybe our health. And sometimes expectations of what we thought could be or we wanted to be, what could have been. My earliest experience with grief occurred when I was 12 years old. I learned at 12 years old that life can be very unfair, unpredictable, and extremely short. I grew up in a home full of love. As a family, of course, we had our challenges, but one thing I was sure of, I was always loved. Those challenges were nothing like the moment we faced when two police officers walked up to my parents' house to deliver the news that my only brother, Paul, was involved in a car accident earlier that day. And unfortunately, he didn't survive. The pain in my heart, in my ears, in my soul, the words that I have to describe it are none. It's indescribable. The shattering of my family as I knew it was devastating, so devastating that it's taken my whole life to heal from that. And I come before you letting you know that I don't consider myself perfect and I don't consider myself healed. I am still on that journey alongside every one of you that is going through that right now. So I'm here to let you know that if you have ever experienced a devastating loss like that, I would like to take this moment to recognize you, to recognize the pain that you have been through, the hurt that you have carried, and to let you know today you are not alone in this. Some of you in this space might know what CPTSD is. I didn't know very well about what it was until about 10 years ago. Childhood trauma isn't just something that stays in the memory. It leaves fingerprints in the brain's architecture, like wind carving itself slowly into canyon walls. When stress becomes chronic instead of occasional, the breath shifts from growth mode to survival mode. And I definitely was no stranger to that. I'm going to walk with you today as far as what happens to the brain neurologically. What does that look like scientifically, neurologically? So, first of all, the amygdala, which is the brain's threat detector, becomes hyperactive. That may mean hypervigilance, anxiety, strong fear responses, feeling on edge, quick to react. The hippocampus, which is the memory part of the brain and safety mapping, also suffers because now we have difficulty with memory. We have trouble concentrating. We have flashbacks. And sometimes we blend our past trauma with what's currently going on in our life today. Old fear suddenly feels like our best friend, always beside us, always by us, telling us lies. The prefrontal cortex, which is the decision maker in the brain, is the part of the brain that is responsible for impulse control, emotional regulation, and reasoning. Trauma during development can slow its maturation. Effects may include impulsivity, emotional overwhelm, difficulty regulating reactions, challenges on planning, challenges with trusting people. Stress hormones and the body are also affected. Trauma can keep cortisol and adrenaline elevated over time, and over time, that can affect your sleep, your immune system, your digestion, and your cardiovascular health. So while many of us can sit here today and we can look at grief and loss as a single faceted impact, how it impacted us, how it impacted how we feel, it's so deep that trauma literally alters your makeup. It alters your neurosystem and your nervous system. And I am no stranger to experiencing that. So many symptoms that we experience as childhood trauma survivors are not just in a person's head, they're real to us. They are as real to us as the computer that you are sitting on right now or the phone that you are watching right now. And I can tell you that when you experience a loss, you may not have no freaking clue where to begin because it feels like your world was just shattered, just jumped, just empty. Like, what the fuck just happened? But I'm here to tell you that when you begin The place to begin is to start. And the good news is you're here today because you made the effort to show up and you made the effort to be present, no matter how uncomfortable it was for you. You're here today. And I want to give you kudos for that, for showing up, for being brave enough to face that. Thank you so much, everyone who is here today. If you experience trauma at an early age, trauma may sculpt your landscape, but let me tell you what, it never gets the final say so. The brain is neuroplastic. That means that it remains capable of growth, renewal, and yes, for some of us, what's extremely hard, connection. Now, how many of you have ever broken your grandma's favorite ceramic dish or maybe the an heirloom that you had that was absolutely amazing? And you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, what did I do? So you grab some super glue, you put it together, and guess what? It's still the same heirloom, it's still the same piece of china, but it's broken and it looks different. No matter what you do to it, it still is different. That's how it is with grief and loss. And for me, I'm not too sure that that ever goes away. It hasn't for me. The only thing that I have learned to do is manage it better. I'm going to share a word out here, dysregulation. Now, if you're comfortable with that word, then you know that dysregulation can lead to an angry person, a depressed person, a person with suicidal thoughts, a person who does not want to be here. That was me. And I do know one thing. When we do not address our trauma, what we have experienced, it compounds and it compounds and it compounds. And suddenly, the friendship that you just lost, the breakup that you just lost, feels like the world just fell on your shoulders because you never dealt with your original wound. And that is something that I experienced in my life. Although my parents did the best to try to get me treatment for my trauma, to try to get me to therapy, to try to get me help, they tried everything that they could while they were trying themselves just to survive. The resources that we had in my state were not the best. I went through years of not understanding why I was different, why I reacted the way I why was I who I was. And after a while, I had so much pain from failed relationships, friendships, getting bullied because people didn't understand why I was different, narcissistic abuse, and my cup overflowed. My cup was done with it. Now, if you've ever read the book, The Body Keeps Score, let me tell you, it's all true. Trauma is stored in the cellular level, and it's real. And for me, the first step in healing is acknowledging the fact, acknowledging that it's real, that it's not something that you're making up, that you're not weird, that it's not something that's just out there, that it is actually something that you are going through. For me, I started going to therapy about 10 years ago, and I found a woman that helped me out with my diagnosis, and I started on my healing journey. But let me tell you, in my culture, mental health has a certain stigma. I'm a very culturally involved person. I was raised in my culture, and those of you that know me know that I absolutely love my culture, but we have some downfalls. We have a lot of shame. We have a lot of guilt. We have a lot of judgment attached to our mental health. In my culture, when you talk about your mental health, people say is, ¿qué va a decir la gente? Te van a creer que estás loca. That means, what are the people going to say? They're going to think you're crazy. Qué vergüenza. What a shame, right? So all of those things that I've been hearing from my peers kept me in this prison of shame. And until I decided to take my healing journey into my own hands and make changes, nothing ever changed for me. And the choice to heal is something that is available to every single one of us. Now, today I'm going to talk to you about resilience. Resilience is something that I am very familiar with. Resilience is something that helps you through your trauma and through your grief. Today, I'm going to touch on 8 points, so you're welcome to write down these notes if you feel they will be of benefit to you. Here are a few ways to build resistance, and I'm going to start off talking about the obstacles. So, first of all, strength is not denying what you went through, not ignoring what you went through, not putting what you went through on a shelf and numbing the shit out of yourself. It's actually facing it and saying, yes, this is something that I experienced and I'm going through. Now, the first obstacle is fear. Fear is that hamster wheel that keeps us stuck in our head, that tells us that we're not good enough, that we can't do it, that what is going to happen to my loved ones, right? Are they going to be okay? Next is physical sickness. In people that have experienced trauma, they have a higher chance of experiencing physical illness because their system is under so much stress. Next is paralysis. Paralysis is when you're unable to get ready to go to work on time. It's when you're in bed and you can't get up and brush your teeth because you just don't have it in you. Next is avoidance. Avoidance is when you don't want to take action because sometimes showing up can be extremely overwhelming. Fifth is confusion. Who to trust, what to believe. Isolation is the next on the list. Isolation, feeling lonely, having difficulty connecting with people because of your fear that they are going to leave. Discouragement, permanent hopelessness, that feeling in your stomach that you just don't want to be here anymore. Emptiness, consumed with grief and fear. And I feel that those two go along. And if you're someone that has struggled with grief and with trauma, maybe some of those you can feel, you can resonate with. Next, I'm going to get into ways to counteract fear. I'm talking about the fear that keeps you trapped in your own mind. Fear of what people might think, fear of what might happen, fear of what will occur if you take this chance, if you go here, if you talk to that person, if you start that business. It's basically like living in a scared fantasy. The fear is consuming and debilitating. But I want you to know that there is a solution for you to recognize that you are not your trauma. What happened to you does not define you. Separate yourself from your trauma, knowing that you are not broken. You are not damaged. Your story started before the trauma that you experienced. And guess what? It will continue after. When you let go of fear, you are free to connect with more people. Your natural talents start to show. Your purpose starts to show up. You start to get to know more of who you are before you took on that title of a person that was diagnosed with a mental condition. Physical sickness. Now, many of us experience physical sickness. Self-care. I used to think that self-care was pedicures, chocolates, and bubble baths. That's bullshit. Just want to tell you that. Self-care isn't a pill that you take. It's not an antidepressant that you pop into your mouth and hope that everything goes away because believe me, doctors tried to give me pills left and right and they never worked for me. That's my story. They never worked for me. Healing is more like a stack of pancakes, several methods layered on top of one another to bring you to that pace, to that place of re-regulation. And those of you that are familiar with dysregulation, it's a horrible place to be. It doesn't feel very good. And dysregulation occurs when you forego things like rest, exercise, which, by the way, exercise is one of the most powerful healing tools for those of us that suffer from CPTSD and PTSD. It's my medicine. I don't take a pill. I work out and I swear by it because it has saved my life. Food. When we eat things like sugar, junk, we're drinking too much alcohol, all of a sudden, we're not fueling our body properly. So when we don't fuel our body properly, just like a machine, it's not going to work properly. So even if you have one of those three components, and I only went over a few of those off, it is going to affect your regulation. So part of that is becoming in tune with mastering regulation, with saying to yourself, you know what? Some days I wake up and I tell myself, man, I feel a little off today. And I'm okay with acknowledging that. I'm okay with saying, man, I feel a little off today. I don't feel like myself today. And that step of letting that be okay, that you don't feel today okay, because you're human and you went through some shit and it's all good. You can stand up and you can start now to take control of your health and your destination. And for me, becoming best friends with your body, knowing it, knowing the signs is so important. Procrastination, which is also a symptom of trauma and grief, which also sometimes we find ourselves in paralysis. The solution is not to avoid things that make you uncomfortable, not to avoid things that are really hard to do, but rather to take action. Now, if that means for you getting up this morning and brushing your teeth and combing your hair, that's how we start. Step by step by step, just like this mountain that we're climbing. We take a step, we get up, we brush our teeth, even if we don't feel like it. And that begins starting our brain in the process of movement, of doing it, of action. So, how do we overcome procrastination? We overcome that with small, consistent steps every single day. And if you just do 2 or 3 today, way to go. Avoidance, and this is something that I am so familiar with. We often feel like outsiders. We feel left out in groups. Being part of something really feels fucking weird to us. It's probably like the most uncomfortable thing ever. Being in a group can be too much because it's like the high school story that never ends. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't like high school. We always tend to keep one foot outside of the door in safety. Now, if that is something that you struggle with, I challenge you to be brave enough to be part of something that is greater than you, even when isolation feels more comforting. And for me, I can tell you that I made that decision 4 years ago when I joined Michael Faber's Unleash You community. And I would not be here today if it was not for Michael Faber. And I want to give him kudos for all of the support and all of the help that he has given me and that the community has given me because it literally saved my life. I felt like such a freak. And basically, all you can do is start one thing every day. If that means you go to the post office and you talk to the person that's in line, say hello, good morning, even as awkward as it may feel, do that. If you go to pick up some groceries, ask the cashier how she's doing today. even when it feels really weird, because I'm one of the most independent people that I know. And let me tell you, I know that I can't do this alone. I know that I wouldn't be here today had it been me alone. I have people that love me, and I am so grateful for that. Many of you are on here on the screen today, and I just want to tell you thank you for loving me. Community is essential for survival. Without it, we really can't succeed. Confusion. When we have loved and lost, we become confused about our reactions because sometimes some of us have extra strong emotions and we don't know what to do with them. So, the best way to counteract confusion is to develop discernment. First of all, with honesty, with truth. Stop the bullshit with yourself. Stop being dishonest with yourself, first of all. That's where it starts. Honesty is huge. Honesty has been a huge part of my healing journey, of looking at myself and pointing out the things that I really didn't like about me sometimes. Then, when we have self reflection, it's always good to have one person that you can trust and ask for clarity on how you are feeling because discernment equals clarity. And all of a sudden, confusion becomes something in your rear view. Loneliness, defendedness, and I'm not perfect. I still struggle with this. I have a hard time connecting with people. And if I like you, I like you. And if I don't, it's pretty hard for me to change that. And thank you, Tim, for the speech that you gave today. That was really heartwarming because that left something in my heart and in my brain. Um, Defendedness. We block everything, the good, the bad. And with that, what happens with that is that when you block everything, basically you're putting yourself in a prison. And let's face it, nobody here wants to live in a prison. I certainly don't. There is a way to love and be loved and still keep yourself safe. Last one I'm going to combine is discouragement and emptiness. Sometimes when you've been through grief and trauma, you have this empty feeling that you carry around with you. Connecting with people is hard. Abandonment is prevalent. Fear and shame is also part of your life. But when you start discovering that we weren't just put on this earth to work, to make money, to talk about everything that we have, but rather to gift each other with the gifts that we were all given by the grace of the man upstairs. Most High is who I call him. Many of us were given gifts like healing, and many of you in this room, I know that you all have it. Healing, teaching, writing, dancing, art, wisdom, knowledge, leadership, hospitality. And I've seen those traits in many of you that are here today. And trauma can suppress your gifts because it keeps you locked into a world of pain. And one of the ways to get out of that is to start to pay attention to where is your passion? What do you enjoy? Who are you besides that trauma that you've been dragging around your whole life? For me, it started by asking myself questions like, what do I really like to do? I like to dance. I like cars. And on and on and on. So getting to know yourself, getting to know what your passions are. And then when we get to know them, not judge them. For the longest time, I used to really just judge the fact that, oh, all I really do is dance, like, oh, I made it like if it was something less than. And it's not. I'm owning that. That's my gift. That's what I came here to do. I came here to move with the world. And that's what I am going to continue to do. And I want you to know out there that if you can relate to this, There's nothing wrong with being you, no matter what they try to make you think, no matter what they say about you. There is nothing wrong with you being you. And those of you that have been through some shit, just know that every time that you go through something, it's really not there to destroy you, but rather to build you into who God intended you to be. And in the words of Bob Marley, I'm going to end this quote with encouraging you all to light up that soul of yours, light it up. And that concludes my speaking for today. Thank you so much.
Flame on! I had to do that. It just came out. Absolutely love it, Allegra. You know, I love seeing the fire this time round. Yeah, you could tell right away that you were pumped up, you were excited, and you know I've seen that other times over the last three uh, not movement, mountain summits that we pushed for, and you are a incredible soul, and you lit the fire under my ass. So thank you for doing that,
Thank
and
you.
you're very welcome. Maybe in Movement Maker Live in 27, I'll be up and ready to shake my ass and attempt to do the Zumba with y'all and do better at it than from 25. So we're going to hand this over to everybody in Zoom land because there are a bunch of hands that have gone up. And you know, I said this before with May and other ladies and guys in our family here. I might just keep talking and not let y'all say anything because, you know, I have control over.
How do we mute you?
You can't. And so I could just keep going and going and going, but I won't. So I'm going to go with my Portuguese sister to the left over here, and we're going to let Miss Sierra hit it. I haven't done that yet.
No, I was hoping you wouldn't, but that's all right. Allegra, your storytelling and like the visual, like sensual or sensuality that I could feel everything that you were saying, and your cadence, like your speeches are getting more and more powerful. And I think it's showing how much you have healed and how much work you have done. And it was so beautiful to sit here and like witness your power and you fully stepping into who you are. It's such a beautiful thing. And I'm so proud of you. I remember, one of our first conversations in Nashville, we really just clicked. And, you have a lot of people that have your back and a lot of people that are here to lift you up. So keep going.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Sierra.
much, Sierra. Thank you.
I gotta keep cutting people off. I've been doing that a lot this summit, so I gotta work on that. So, Kristen, what you got for us?
I just wanted to say, as I've been a nurse for 13 years and my roots are in neurotrauma ICU, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing forward and explaining to people how powerful the brain is and that it can actually make your physical body sick because that is the absolute truth. That is a lot of what plays into the disorder that I have as well, called CRPS. I hold a lot of trauma in my life that I'm working on getting rid of. But I went to a program last year and just they taught me that there. And I didn't even know, like I was a neurotrauma ICU nurse and treated so many patients and thought I knew tons about the brain. But what they failed to mention, and they often leave out, is the part where the brain can literally be so powerful that it can make you sick physically. And I just really appreciated that take and education for everyone, honestly. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kristen. You're awesome. Raven, what you got for us?
Thank you, Allegra. I just wanted to know if you are familiar with survivor's guilt, because
Yes.
that's something that I experienced. And if so, what was that like for you?
So for me, it's just a feeling of like I should have gone instead. Like basically, you kind of feel like if you weren't here, it'd be easier because of everything that you have to see, everything that you have to experience. For me, it was watching my two strongest people who I absolutely loved and looked up to fall apart right in front of me. And yes, I have experienced that, and it's something that I definitely had to work through. I even remember telling my mom at one point, you know, I wish that I would have been the one that died because when Paul died, everyone died in this family. And I can definitely relate to that feeling. And for me, it was just a matter of processing it through time. But the huge turning point for me was when I actually realized that this wasn't something that I made up, that that I decided to choose that day. Like my reactions, the way that I was, the way that I felt, it wasn't something that, I mean, there's physical evidence that shows that it changes your brain and the way that you operate in this world. So for me, yes, I have experienced that, Mary, and I'm understanding of what you are going through. And if I can ever help you in any way, please let me know because I would love to help you as best as I can.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you.
I did it again. Son of a gun. Mike, what you got, brother?
Allegra. It's almost like I heard it before, but I didn't. But you absolutely crushed this. Best I've seen you yet. So real and raw, welcoming people into your world, which I know you didn't love for a long time. All right.
No.
To do that shows real strength and courage. And to stand in that like you did, beyond impressive and impactful. So thank you for letting us in to see that, to experience that with you, and to change our lives in the meantime. So thank you.
Thank you so much for saving my life because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you and many other people that are here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Megan. Not Megan. Thank you, Allegra. I love you all. We'll take one more and then we're going to keep the climb going. And that's Mr. James Mullard, the man that actually lost his voice earlier today because his microphone wasn't working.
There's a difference between not speaking and losing one's voice, sir. So
but we couldn't hear you for the first time. I mean, I don't think that's ever happened in the history.
you should be proud of that for the moment, sir. And give me 1 second so I can give this amazingly powerful woman her kudos for being real, raw, and open. It's actually the most open that I have seen you since I've known and met you, and I am so proud to see that. And not only that, I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you, period. Over the last several months, you've become like my social media spirit animal with dropping so much wisdom bombs and like not even just whether or not it's relevant or it's agree or disagree. You're just like, this is my truth. This is what I believe. This is what I'm standing for. And agree to disagree, that's fine. But respectfully, I'm living my own life and I'm doing things the way that I decide to do them. That cannot tell you how awesome that is for me to see because it's relatable. And like you and I have been engaging a lot more because of that lately. And I'm just like, man, my girl's dropping bombs. My girl's dropping this. Like, so it's like, you know, I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing because you're in a lane now that's yours. You've claimed it, you're owning it, and you're showing people what it's about. And I love that. So please, my dear, keep that moving forward. I'm so freaking pumped and I'm so freaking proud.
Thank you. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate you. And I appreciate all the energy that you bring. And I'm also glad that we're getting closer and starting to communicate more. And thank you for appreciating that part of me that refuses to dim my light and my truth. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that piece, Allegra. That's one thing that James is very good about is pulling that piece out of us and being always accepting about us. That's what everybody in this, that's what everybody in this community does. And that's, once again, we've had a lot of shout outs to this man. And I mentioned this earlier today, but that's all thanks to Michael Faber. Seriously. I mean, his guidance and the level that he loves his people and the protection that he provides is something I haven't seen since Joey. The only other person I can really think of besides Michael is my boy Austin. I mean, if it wasn't for Austin, I wouldn't be here today. And I'll share about that later on before Michael does his second deal for us today. But thanks to, you. You.
Am I next?
No, Deb's going before.
Oh, thank God.
Surprise!
Whew. I was like, oh shit. No, thank God.
And of
Good.
course, he breaks the seriousness and makes us all laugh. That's what we love about the Faber. But
Yeah, thank God.
That's what we love about Michael. And thank you, Allegra.
Thank you.